Good morning. This is Shindo. This morning I'm going to talk about how what has been termed the alt-right is turning against their Lord, their Emperor King, Donald Trump. As you may or may not know, I did a series of videos on these people who call themselves KEK cultists and who pride themselves in their ability to troll. So since I committed what to them is a cardinal sin by actually exposing their sick, perverted minds on a number of different videos about their worship of Donald Trump and KEK, I was trolled unmercifully by these children and child-minded adults. And I can't tell you just how joyful it is to see some karma coming back at these people, because these are the people who believe wholeheartedly that they're the ones who put Trump in. So now, after Trump has started a war in Syria, folks, it's not over. If you think that he's just going to strike that one air base and it's over, they're already talking about getting rid of Assad. I mean, it's Iraq all over again. So you 4chan cucks who supported Donald Trump and believe him to be Emperor King, well, you're the fools, which I've been telling you for some time, you're the fools who he's going to be putting in the front lines of this new war in Syria. So enjoy. I'm going to be reading from an article from a website called Mashable.com. A number of former Trump supporters, I mean just die-hard supporters, have turned against him just like that. Boom, just like that. As though they are shocked and surprised that no, Donald Trump does not walk on water. Trump's internet support squads are infighting after missile strike in Syria. You will find a link to this in the description box. Don't look now, but there seems to be some serious cracks appearing in Trump's most ardent support on the internet. On Reddit and 4chan Friday, all the talk has been of the president's recent intervention in Syria, and some of his most die-hard fans are not best pleased. The president ordered a missile strike on Syrian airfield Thursday night in retaliation for a chemical weapon attack perpetuated by the Syrian government that left dozens of people dead, and his actions have seriously divided his supporters. Trump has long rallied against the idea of any kind of intervention in Syria, and many of his nationalist supporters jumped into the campaign wagon because they believed he was an isolationist, someone who would focus his energies on their preferred anti-immigration policies rather than become involved in another war in the Middle East. So when that assumption proved incorrect, some of his most prominent supporters bailed, or at least balked. By the way, I have been looking at the comments of a number of different videos that have been calling out Trump. Oh gosh, Trump can't be what we thought he was, right? You people are fools. You really are. You thought Trump was going to be something else. He's going to be something else, all right. He's going to be a new world order like you've never seen before. Like you've never seen before. The whole world's going to be under this new world order. You wanted an emperor? You're going to have an emperor over the world. And it's going to be just as bad, much worse than your biggest nightmare, you 4chan fools. This is by Ann Coulter. Oh, before I go on, I wanted to say that I've seen many comments on these different, all of a sudden, oh my God, what is Trump doing? I was an alt-righter, but what am I going to do now? I feel like I'm stabbed in the back. There are a lot of anti-Semitic remarks towards Trump, and of course his son-in-law, who is Jewish, and his daughter, who is a converted Jew. So it boggles my mind why an anti-Semite would have voted for Trump. I mean, how stupid are you? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Did you think that Trump was anti-Israel? I mean, how stupid are you people over there at 4chan? Those of you from the alt-right. I can't fathom the depths of how stupid you are. Anyway, here is a tweet from Ann Coulter, who I have done a video about. Changed her book title from In God We Trust to In Trump We Trust. This is her tweet. And of course, you will find a link to this in the description box. If you like what I do, by the way, please subscribe, comment, like, and share my videos. Ann Coulter on Twitter said, Trump campaigned on not getting involved in Mideast. Said it always helps our enemies and creates more refugees. Then he saw a picture on TV. Now, how condescending is that for the same person who has been in Trump's corner since he declared that he was running for president? Peruse pro-Trump channels on Reddit and 4chan, and you'll find a digital field marred with infighting. Some insist Trump duped his supporters by launching a strike in the Middle East, asking, why did he betray us? Quote, being a man of principles, I did not support Trump as much as I supported what he stood for. What does he stand for? What's good for Trump? God, you people are stupid. So, when I saw him flip-flop on Syria, I was quick to disavow him, unquote, wrote one 4chan user. Others on 4chan blasted anyone criticizing Trump over the strike. Quote, you're willing to forget all those hours and days we memed Trump into the presidency? God, what an overblown sense of self you folks have. You memed him into the presidency? Really? All those times we fought against the mainstream media, who were all against Trump and gave him 1% chance of winning, all those nerve-wracking moments during the election night, that magical feeling the morning after, where you knew we were in the right timeline, we were finally beginning to change the narrative, wrote another. That right there sounds like what these Trump supporters, most of them are, and that is a cult member. It doesn't matter what Trump does, because he is a cult leader, folks. Someone just wanted to see how the aftermath of the airstrike played out. Quote, he bombed Syria. I F up. Let's give him some time, one user wrote. Okay. They are talking about changing the regime in Syria. Do you think Trump, being the type of man he is going to be out there, having his people out there, talking about this, and him suddenly say, you know what, I was wrong, I'm not going to go after Assad? Do you really think that's going to be the case, folks? Think about it. I swear, you do have brains, don't you? Those of you on the alt-right. And a third group are seemingly happy to support the action, asking why others care if missiles are exploding in Syria. On Reddit, the titles of several threads poke fun at anyone who is now skeptical of Trump. Quote, in case you didn't notice, the Russian investigation just died. Quote, Mark Dice on Twitter, when Obama launched airstrikes into Syria, did it get this kind of non-stop coverage? Oh, you forgot he did that. Well, there's your answer. But in Twitter, furious tweets came thick and fast after the intervention, many from prominent former supporters. Baked Alaska, the USA was not attacked. Why are we attacking Syria? I 100% don't support this. Richard Spencer, I absolutely condemn Washington's military strike against Syria. Hashtag Syria, hashtag no more war. Paul Joseph Watson, one of Alex Jones' little guys. Guys, I can't vehemently oppose destabilizing the Syrian government for 6 years and then support it just because Trump did it. Sorry. Mike Charnovich, Trump's base of support is gone. If he goes to war with Syria, the same people who betrayed before election will betray him again. I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty reading this so-called English. White nationalist Trump supporter Andrew Anglin wrote on his website that he'd been up all night crying and drinking and slamming his fist into the wall. Self-help author and noted conspiracy theorist Mike Chernovich, that's the one I just read from. This guy's an author, and he can barely write a sentence? Anyway, self-help author and noted conspiracy theorist Mike Chernovich, meanwhile, has constructed something of a media empire around his support for Trump and lambasting of what he believes to be, quote, mainstream media. However, he is so opposed to the strike in Syria that he tried to put the blame for the chemical attack on the U.S., quote, deep state, a common reference to intelligence officials some believe are the ones truly controlling the U.S. government. The hashtag was hashtag Syria hoax. The conspiracy theorist site InfoWars also wrote that the chemical attack was a left-wing conspiracy, and the outlet both bashed and praised media in a baseless defense of this claim. Folks, this is what cult followers do. InfoWars. Hashtag Soros-funded groups have reportedly staged another chemical weapon attack on civilians in Syria. Okay. Some, however, have praised Trump for ordering the strike, including prominent supporter Bill Mitchell. Trump struck fear into the hearts of his enemies and united the world behind his leadership. Stop me when I get to the part you hate. From nationalists to isolationists to those who will generally back Trump because he's Trump, all kinds of supporters are watching the intervention in Syria carefully. The strike has made a divide much more apparent. It's not, a huge surprise that these kinds of people would all start infighting. That's what they do. You see, their entire scope of internet support rested on a negative, and that was keeping Hillary Clinton out of office. Well, Hillary Clinton's not around anymore, so you don't have the Wicked Witch of the West to fight. So, what's going to happen? Trump is going to do what presidents do. And Trump, being Trump, isn't going to hesitate to do it, regardless of whether his most ardent supporters support it. So he's going to do what he thinks is right as President of the United States. And it's been 2.5 months since he's been president, and he's already really screwed his base. And it shouldn't be any surprise. And it's actually what you would see a cult leader do. A cult leader will continue to do this. He pushes boundaries to see who his real supporters are. And obviously people like InfoWars, who can create an entire scenario, an entire non-existent fiction in their minds to justify what Trump did. It's obvious that that is, the Trump administration, is sort of winnowing out those supporters who aren't as strong as the others. And I've mentioned this before. If you think the fact that Trump only has a 30-something% approval rating, Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany with only 10% of the country being members of the Nazi Party. So consider that. It doesn't matter not as much. It doesn't matter the quantity of his followers, Trump. It matters the quality of his followers as far as he's concerned. He is getting the most ardent supporters, and he is winnowing out the chaff. So, I know that this video is going to get attacked by you 4chan fools, you KEK CUX. And I'm waiting for it. I'm not going to respond to you. I may or may not. But, most importantly, I want you to come on here so everyone else can see what kind of low-life scum you people really are. They are the lowest of the low-lifes. We're talking about the kind of people who couldn't even associate well in a white nationalist meeting because they're just too extreme in their thinking and too dumb. We've got an entire generation of millennials that have no social skills, no ability to reason, no wisdom at all, because they haven't actually engaged in life the way the generations before them have. And these are the types of people who will fervently support their cult leader, their emperor god Trump, until the very end. And with things like what's going on in Syria and now North Korea, the very end is not going to be that far off. This is Shindo. Have a good Monday.